So why do I keep rejecting nice guys? Why don't I find them attractive?
It's because nice guys always finish last. That's why I'll keep treating you like trash. Shout out Ryan Higa.
That was a lot. That was a
Yeah.
lot, but okay. So assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Muslim Marriage Podcast, where we show you how to find and build a healthy marriage as a Muslim. I'm Zahra Hassan.
And I'm AJ, and we've been married for 3.5 years. And if you like our videos, please comment and subscribe. Ask your questions below, and you may feature in one of our videos. And don't forget to check out our website, zahrahassancoaching.com.
And as a thank you, get your free copy of the compatibility guide available in the links below. So before we get started with this week's episode, I have some good news for the single sisters. I have been getting a lot of emails and a lot of messages about that free dating app training. About the dating app training. It is now free once again. If you've been wondering how to use the matrimonial app so that they actually work for you, sign up and I'll teach you for free in a 1-hour live webinar with me. I can only do this twice a month right now due to time constraints, so space is very limited. Sign up in the link below before spots are gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to this week's episode entitled, Why Do I Reject Nice Guys?
Let's get started.
See, for the record, you never know what the episode is about until I start speaking.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your take on the nice guys before we just get started?
Okay, so there's two different types of nice guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got nice guys, and then you got quote unquote nice guys. And the quote unquote nice guys are insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they only talk to people, I guess women, for the purposes of trying to find a way to become their boyfriend.
Oh, so you're
and
saying,
they'll stay your friend for years,
so
treating you like a nice guy until you make it evidently clear
yeah.
that you're not attracted to them or you're not into them or you just want to stay friends. And then they do a tone shift, a huge tone shift, where they all of a sudden become evil.
This is very specific.
Very evil. I've seen very specific cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. On that evil note, let's get started with the question. So this week's question is coming from the Muslim Marriage subreddit. A sister asks, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Alhamdulillah, after years and some change of searching, I met a brother that, mashallah, he's great as far as deen and even most of his personality. He loves to communicate and he seems genuinely to care about me. My problem is that he seems to lack some confidence and sometimes I feel like I am a bit much for him. I don't feel as feminine as I'd like with him. Not that it's his place to do this for me, but I mean I want a man whose masculinity complements and maybe even enhances my femininity. Our families are aware that we're talking, but I'm about a week away from just telling him, I'm sorry, but I can't shake this feeling. I don't know why I feel like something is off, but I got a very strong gut feeling one night when talking to him, and the feeling went, but the realization that something is off hasn't been shook. Although we've only been acquainted for a short period of time, i.e. a few months, I also just don't see myself being actually happy to be with him in the long run. We have some glimmers of fun and enjoyment of one another, but at the end of the day, I'm just so unsure about him. What do I do? For the record, I'm going to assume, like I assume with each person, that everything is done in a completely halal context, right? Because this is the Muslim Marriage subreddit.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the Muslim Marriage Podcast.
Yeah. Well, the question is off of the Muslim Marriage subreddit.
Yes, it is. I apologize. We were completely different entities with very similar titles.
Coincidence. Yeah.
So you tell me, what are your thoughts?
I mean, if she doesn't feel like she's going to enjoy being married to him, then just call it off.
Yeah.
That's a simple answer.
What do you think her reasons might be?
Well, the feeling that she got that apparently he's not masculine enough for her, you know?
Yeah.
And there are some people, right?
Yeah.
That like a masculine man.
Yeah.
There are some people that like a feminine man,
Yeah.
you know? There are some people that like a mix in the middle, you know? But like, if he's giving her the wrong vibes, then there's no point continuing with the conversation. Just find yourself a man that gives you the right vibes.
I agree with you, but I think it all comes down to her definition of what does she mean by masculinity. So
Yeah.
what do you think that she means by masculinity? I think that's the crux of the issue here.
Well, I mean, if I let my imagination run wild, he and her and Mahram were walking to the cafe spot when a gym bro approached her and said, "Hey, you looking fine, you know?" And then she's like, "Okay, excuse me. I got to get away from the situation." But she didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, and then that's when the guy should have stepped up and be like, "Yo, back off. Can't you see I'm already talking to her? Look, this is her mahram, man."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, hello, you got two male figures stood right here who could just beat you up. But no, he didn't do that.
Yeah.
Right? So he fell a couple levels in her eyes.
Yeah.
And she's like, this guy's not going to be able to protect me.
All right. So that very specific situation
that's what happened. That's what I think happened. Right? If I were to just take an educated guess.
All right.
That's what happened.
In the 3 months, that's what happened.
Specifically. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's
people go to cafes on their first conversation. That's usually where someone goes. Like with the mahram, you go to a cafe, you just sit down, have either a coffee or a shah,
or chai. I get
tea,
you.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't disagree. Right, so I would say that probably the emotional equivalent might have happened more likely. I think what she spoke about here was his confidence. Right,
this is why you and I are married. We're always on the same page.
On the same page.
Yeah.
And this is true. I agree with you. But I think in her case, what she was speaking about was his confidence. So for whatever reason, she understood that he was not as confident as she was expecting him to be. Now, there's a reason why I chose this question, because there are so many different iterations of this question that happen. That I see from clients all the time. Not as often from the male clients. It does happen with them from time to time. It's usually a different archetype of woman that they consider the nice woman, like quote unquote the nice woman or the nice girl, that they tend to walk away from for other reasons. But for this episode, we're going to be talking about sisters who walk away from the quote unquote nice brother, the nice guy, right? The good man. So I'm going to make a whole bunch of assumptions that are based on what I've seen in the past, what I've seen to be common that may or may not apply to this sister.
Yeah.
So just let's take that leap. Just take that leap with me for the sake of education.
Yeah. If I were to make a more toned down guess, in that case, she probably saw like a bug somewhere or a spider or something in the house.
Yes.
And she asked him, "Hey, can you take the spider outside?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my God, no." Yeah.
No, that would be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be definitely a problem for those of us who are we're very severely afraid of everything more that has more than 4 legs.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I mean, some people are afraid of things that have 4 legs as well. You know?
Oh, this is true. This is
dogs.
True. This is true, but for me, it's more than 4 legs, and the exception being worms.
I'm not afraid of dogs, by the way, just for the record.
Okay, that's another plus. So back to this question, right? And we're speaking about the archetype of the nice guy and the pattern that I see play out quite often with sisters is that for one reason or another, a woman will start a talking stage with somebody that she met through family, dating app, wherever, someplace. And what she will experience is that this person checks off all my boxes, because that's what most of us are doing, men and women, that we have a list in our mind of somebody, who meets this criteria. So he checks off all her boxes. And she's speaking with him and that spark is missing.
Yeah.
That's usually what it is that I find after speaking with the sisters and saying what's going on. They'll say that spark. So the word spark will have different words there. Sometimes they'll say there isn't chemistry. I don't feel the connection. In this case, she said he's not really confident.
So they're just looking for STEM majors. That's all.
STEM.
Yeah. Like they're looking for chemistry. They're looking for spark. They're looking for electricians.
most of the, you'd be surprised how many of the nice guys are actually chemistry majors.
One person was specifically looking for a transformer.
Transformer?
They were looking for the Allspark.
Okay. That was terrible. But it was good. I like it. But so they'll use some iteration of that language, right? So in this case, she's speaking about confidence and masculinity, right?
Yeah.
So what she's saying is valid. That's why I'm stepping away from her specifically and just going towards.
That's why I said she should just leave him.
I agree, right? If she really doesn't feel that connection won't be there, definitely walk away. But what we're speaking about here instead is all of the sisters who find themselves in similar situations. I'm going to give you a perspective, right? And based on that perspective, it might help you to make this decision or not. So when you meet this person and he's missing that je ne sais quoi, right? He has everything else, but he's missing that connection, that spark, that chemistry, that what it is that they tend to be describing is anxiety. If you go down to the bedrock of speaking to the client or speaking to this woman and asking her, what is it that you feel when you do meet somebody that you'd like? The last time that you met somebody that you liked, that you had that connection with, describe for me how it felt.
Yeah.
And a lot of that description is going to say they're going to say, well, I think about them a lot. I'm nervous when I speak to them. My heart racing, dry mouth, clammy hands, all those things, right?
Yeah.
So those are actually symptoms of an activated nervous system, specifically the sympathetic nervous system. So this is the body responding to a stressful situation, right? Or an anxiety laden situation. So why is that? Why is that? Why does that happen? Why is it that for some of us, for actually quite a few of us, but let's say for some of us, that what we recognize as attraction, what we recognize as connection, and eventually love is connected, is directly connected to feeling a little bit stressed. Why is it a stressful experience?
Like an adrenal gland type of thing. Well, you said earlier, je ne sais quoi. I don't know what that means, but I'll continue.
All right, that was good.
I could not finish that joke.
Okay, it was too good. It was too good. Oh,
so I feel like for the people that have some level of attraction to someone else, that activates like adrenal gland.
Stress response. Yeah.
Stress. It activates the fight or flight. Right?
Yeah.
Like, suddenly they're imagining their life with this person, right? And they're hoping that, okay, this is hopefully going to be a good life. But like, what if it all goes wrong? What if this person doesn't love me? What if this person treats me badly? What if we just live a poor life, whatever, like that. They're just thinking too far ahead in the future. What they need to do is they need to come back to the present and realize that it's not going to happen because they're going to get rejected.
Mm-hmm. So it's finally happened, where we disagree. After this many episodes, we got to a point where we disagree. What you're saying
false.
Okay. So what you're saying makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And it probably is what's going on for quite a few people. And I think what you're describing is what happens.
Anxiety.
Yeah, what happens more often for men. But with respect to women, I think there's a different reason why the connection, the feeling of love is so connected to the fight or flight or stress response.
Yeah.
I think there are two reasons. There are two reasons that sort of play into each other. Mm-hmm. The first reason is related to once again our childhoods.
Yeah.
The original context under which we learned what love is or what it was to be loved.
The original childhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because your romantic relationship when you get older, right, and the caregiver relationship, particularly when you were a child, these are both very emotionally intimate relationships. They're similar in enough ways that one can often determine the other. How you understand one will determine the other. So during childhood, if you grew up in circumstances where you experienced conditional love, right? That instead of unconditional love, what you experienced with your caregivers was more conditional love. That there were a set of criteria that if you did A, then you would be loved, right? That's a very common dynamic, unfortunately. And depending on the specific circumstances, you would have different criteria for within different family members. But what you would develop regardless in the context of conditional love is that love is dependent upon me doing or showing up as a certain way, and it can go away.
Sometimes the conditional love is contingent on things that you cannot change.
Yeah, of course, right? Actually, most of the time it is. But what's important is that this experience of being loved and cared for and cherished can be taken away.
Yeah.
Right? So that we can internalize that idea, so that when in the future, when we are going out to look for a spouse and a mate, when someone offers us unconditional attention, just like with this gentleman, right, where he's just consistently responding, he just makes his intentions known, says there are no games here, this is what I'm about, completely transparent, and everything is given unconditionally, and perfect circumstances for that to develop into unconditional love. We don't recognize that. If you grew up in a circumstances where you don't, that's not what you're familiar with, then you're going to reject that. You're going to walk away from it, because what you're used to experiencing is, hey, I'm used to experiencing this underlying anxiety that this might be taken away at any moment. That's what I see as love. Therefore, in the future, after I grow up and I'm looking for a spouse, I'm going to be subconsciously choosing someone who will be able to recreate that experience of conditional attention, eventually conditional love, right?
So you want someone who gives conditional love.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We don't want this, exactly. We don't want this from a conscious level, but subconsciously that's what we are looking for. That's what we are filtering for, right? So, and this conditional love is given a lot of different names, but at the end of the day, what the common denominator is when you speak to the person is some level of anxiety and uncertainty and stress, right? So that's the first reason. The first reason is related to our childhood upbringing, priming us to be relating some sort of uncertainty, some sort of conditionality to love, and therefore it being overall a stressful experience.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the first place where that relationship comes from. The second place, you have any guesses where it could have come from?
Trauma.
Sort of. The first place was actually closer to trauma, right? So that's the right answer for the first one. Childhood trauma.
Nature.
Okay.
There's only one of the two, right?
Yeah, nurture or nature. I get you. So the second one is actually closer to a type of nurture. I think it comes from media and social programming overall.
Conditioning.
Yes, exactly. Social, not just programming within your caregiver child relationship within your home. Also, with respect to the social programming of society as a whole upon you. Right?
Micro traumas.
Exactly. So when we watch, when we grow up, like I grew up in the era of Disney.
Yeah.
Right. I remember one of the first things that we watched when we were first introduced to television. Right. We watched a lot of Barney and we watched a lot of Disney. Those are the things that I remember, and also randomly Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with this discussion. It was just a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, but there was a lot of Cinderella, Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, which was my favorite, Little Mermaid, all of these things. And as you get older, then you have the rest of television with overall similar dynamics, and movies and all of the romantic comedies. And overall, if you were to take all of these this input coming in, this external input coming in from society, there'd be a few ideas that are common to all of them, from Disney all the way to, we'll say, the show Friends, right?
Yeah.
The ideas that are being broadcast towards women is that you as a woman are as valuable, your value depends upon the attention of men. So the more attention of men that you have, the more valuable you are. If I would say, if there was an overall concept that was being pushed, that would be the idea. That's what's being pushed. There are little sub-concepts underneath this that also, if you want to increase your value as a woman, you need to be, number one, dressed a certain way, right? And number two, behave in a way that allows men to have some sort of access to you, right? So if you pay attention to a lot of the Disney, you have young women who are under the care of their parents, usually the father. I don't know, Disney didn't really like mothers, but that are under the care of their parents and decide at 15, 16 years old, I don't want to be under the care of my parents. I want to go and find my own way in life.
A movie villain.
Yeah, but the finding their independence is usually begins with respect to the first man that they come across.
Yeah.
Literally the first
I thought
man.
you were going to say begins with finding and kidnapping 101 Dalmatians.
That was a different one.
That would have been fire.
That was a totally different one with different.
Mom, Dad, I'm going to be independent. Take me to the first foster star.
Okay. So this one, if you think back to Aladdin, if you think back to Cinderella, Snow White, all of them, you have a young woman who leaves her family's home. Literally, the first man she meets comes across in the woods, on a ship, wherever he is. That's the one. And that is related to the idea of being as accessible to men as possible, because you literally chose the first one that you came across.
Yeah.
Snow White is an interesting case because it literally is pinning two women against each other, where you have Snow White and then you have the evil queen. And the evil queen is the evil queen for a number of reasons, but also because she is undesirable, because there are no men who desire her. Whereas Snow White, in addition to the prince, is adored by all the men, including literally 7 that she lives with.
I thought the evil queen was just the second most beautiful woman in the world, and she wanted to take out the first most beautiful woman in the world.
It could be, but there are no men who desire her in that. Like, there are no men who are around her, saying that,
they're like,
reinforcing that.
They're like, hey, yo, now I understand you're number 2, right? But Snow White, she's number 1. And then they're like, hey, yeah, you know what? It was weird how she didn't have suitors herself.
At all.
She was number 2.
Not only that, the mirror itself was also a man.
The mirror was like, there was another.
It was exactly, but the mirror was it's usually a man's voice, right? That's telling her, I as a man, I'm telling you
what you're worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know that this is all becoming a little bit woo woo, but because everything that we're talking about is happening on the subconscious plane, it's really important to understand where some of these ideas might be coming from. So from Disney, and then you get older, and then you now have, all of the shows on television, Fresh Prince, Friends, whatever you grew up with. That's what I grew up with. You see a lot of the same themes playing out over and over again.
Yeah.
Where a woman...
Specifically that one trope of there's like the talent management guy. Mm-hmm. He'll go like, hey, baby, look at you. You're going to be a star one day.
Yes. Because of the way she looks, right?
Yeah.
And even when a young woman looks a certain way, she's also asked, you need to also behave in a way that makes men that gives men access to you a little bit more. You need to be more outgoing, you need to go where the men are, etc. All of these ideas. Therefore, a young woman growing up under these circumstances learns that her value is dependent upon the attention of men. So she's carrying that within her. So she is, when she goes out to look for a spouse, subconsciously understands that if you don't find enough men, or at least one man, to choose you, then it's your value is somehow lessened. So you have that aspect. Yeah. Another aspect that the media also portrays is that you need to expect that your love is going to be a stressful experience. right? If you take a look at all of the big love stories from Disney all the way to The Notebook, right? Expect that love is going to be a stressful experience. Expect some level of rejection, and you need to expect some level of you having to win this person over. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's very few examples where two people are just compatible, accept each other, and move on.
Yeah.
Right? That's very, very few examples. What's more common is that people, for one reason or another, meet, don't accept each other, and have a lot of hot and cold. There's a lot of hot and cold. A big question mark of, am I even good enough for this person?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Until this person, lo and behold, one day turns towards you and says, you know what? I have decided that you
to
are
lower my standards.
Exactly, and that you are now good enough for me. That happens way too often.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So when you carry these two ideas from society and from social programming, along with the idea from your childhood that your love is conditional and you need to expect it to be stressful, then it's no wonder that when you now are out there in talking stages looking for a spouse, when you meet somebody who's completely transparent about their intentions, is very clear about what they want, and doesn't do any hot and cold or intermittent reinforcement that we spoke about before, and they just simply give you attention as a normal person on a consistent basis, like clockwork. You're not, and you don't exactly, and it's not stressful at all. You're like, subconsciously you're saying, I don't know if there's a spark here. I don't know if there's I don't recognize this at all. This is pretty alien. This is not interesting. So let me keep looking. Right. So that was a long and a roundabout way of trying to give context into why. I'm not saying everyone, right? I'm just saying this is a pattern that I've seen commonly. Definitely a pattern that until I became aware of it, what I was carrying out myself. Right.
I also have a similar experience where I'd be confused when I was younger, right? Like in elementary school, people would consistently come up to me and ask me if I've ever seen their knee. And I'm like, hello?
Okay.
Why are you guys, and specifically, which knee are you asking me to look at? And they're like, well, just the one that's channeling, and presumably they're talking about magic, right? Because it makes no sense. But like, I don't know, like all these kids kept asking me about their specific knee that channels magic.
Okay. All right. You got that look? You got that smile? Bring it home.
They've been saying, do you see the Disney Channel?
Oh, Disney. Disney Channel. Okay, I like that. But you've been holding on to it for a minute because I've been a little bit long-winded.
Oh, you specifically have mentioned Disney multiple times.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I think it was the original crime.
Yeah, the original. Absolutely.
But hopefully that makes sense, right? Hopefully that context starts to make sense. So therefore, at what point should you walk away? Like, at what point when you meet somebody and you're in a talking stage with somebody and you're not really feeling that spark right away, you're not really feeling that chemistry, what's the difference between genuinely not being compatible with this person, and your previous programming through childhood core wounds and social programming preventing you from seeing the compatibility that's there? So what's the difference between the two? Like, at what point should you decide that, okay, this is genuinely not going to work out because we're too different and I should walk away?
The difference is your friends and family, observers. They'll tell you if they see a connection or not.
Actually, that's very helpful. That can be very true.
Yeah.
They can, the people around you who know you best can reinforce some of the compatibility that is there in terms of personality, in terms of etc. But even, let's say that they're telling you that, but you still really don't feel it. You really don't feel this connection.
Okay. GG.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So what I usually recommend to clients, right, is give it a certain number of interactions. Give it at least, and okay, so this is for the case for people who are living in the same place.
At least one.
Yeah, okay. Who are living in the same place. I would usually say, and you can meet on a regular basis in a halal manner. I usually advise at least 3 meetings.
Yeah.
Wait at least 3 meetings and see if after 3 meetings the connection really isn't there. The reason why 3 meetings is to control for things like nervousness on your end, on his end, right? It takes a few meetings in order to feel comfortable enough for your own personality to start to shine through.
Yeah, specifically.
Yeah. First meeting is not enough. Second meeting is not enough. 3 meetings is usually what is recommended both by Muslim and non-Muslim coaches, right? To control for that. So 3 meetings. Now, if you can't meet and it's long distance, why not?
How long if you can't meet?
If you can't meet and you guys are not, because you're not in the same place for one reason or another, then how long do you wait?
That's a good question. The presumption is that you're going to meet at some point in the future if you wait long enough.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But you don't want to make it like, oh, I can't meet this person for 5 full years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to them and only them for 5 full years.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the spark. And then I'm just going to be like, well, I have to wait until I meet them in person. No. I think... and
people do that, by the way.
I would say probably 5 meetings, if that's the case. Right? Maybe 5.
But they can't meet.
They can, though, right? Like internet-wise.
You're saying in terms of video?
Yeah, like the nerves will still go away in video, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you're talking to someone on video, I feel like there's going to be less nerves.
Yeah.
Because if you freak out and abandon the mission, you just close the laptop.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, sorry, I got to go. And that's it. And then now you have time to recover. And then you just text them like, okay. Sorry, it's not me, it's you.
Okay. Wow, it's brutal. But so it is you better bring up a good point, right? But with long distance, I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's not going to be so much as the number of meetings. I think it really is related to time. For long distance, I give it about a month. Right? If everything else checks out, this person is safe, you guys are on the same page, logistically, everything checks out, and you're compatible in all the other ways that we talk about in my compatibility guide that is available for download in the description, then wait a month, at least a month, right? Because that's enough time for some of the personality to shine through despite all of the nervousness that comes from being in a talking stage. Because realistically, and I'm speaking to the women here, realistically, the good man, right, the one whose intentions are good and who is a safe person, is going to be nervous to talk to you because his intention is to marry you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's when that might be part of what she saw, and in this situation where she said that he's not very confident. He could have just been nervous.
Yeah.
Right? That is a thing. So the good man is going to be very nervous. The man who the man who you come across who is very charming, very confident, I would walk away from that gentleman. Simply because it's not just me who says that. So many different coaches, including the great Dr. Ramani, she did a whole video simply about the dangers of people who are very charming. It could be the part of the reason why they're so confident. It's not because of they're confident about themselves. It's that they're confident about their intentions with you are not genuine. Either they're there to not marry you, or they're there to control you. Either way, they're not worried about what you think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People who are nervous are the ones who are worried about what you think and what you might do. So the good man, the one who is safe and that you do want to have, who is capable of a healthy marriage, that man is going to be nervous. That's why we say wait at least 3 meetings, or 1 month if meetings aren't possible. So hopefully, on some level, that answers her question. Is there anything we missed?
No.
No.
You and I personally, have never missed a connection.
You have never missed a connection?
Yeah, we're always connected.
Aw, that. Was that just being genuinely nice? There's no follow-up jokes?
It's today is Sunday, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I've hit my quota for the week.
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this episode. If you've made it this far, Jazaa K'Allah Khayr. We really appreciate you choosing to spend your time with us. It always means a lot to us. More good news is that with some effort, alhamdulillah, we've finally been able to be delisted from Spotify. So we're no longer on Spotify. So if you, okay, so you're not going to be listening to this on Spotify, but if you, regardless of which platform that you have found your way to, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, even if you're on one of the other podcast platforms, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to our channel. It really, really does help us out, because the YouTube algorithm is very finicky about which content it pushes out and which content it doesn't. So this will help us to be seen by more people, inshallah, especially if you find the information useful. So that brings us to the end of that. If you haven't already, don't forget to download your free copy of the compatibility guide in the description below. And if you're a young woman, single, on the matrimonial apps, and you would like some guidance on how to navigate that Amazon jungle, feel free to click to sign up for my free live webinar. Spots are limited, and there are only 2 a month. So feel free to sign up on the description below.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we've been away so long that I've forgotten how to speak. So that's everything. Is there anything am I missing?
Ooga booga ooga.
Of course. So Jazakallah Khair.
Because I also forgot how to speak.
You did? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jazakallah Khair once again. We wish you a wonderful week and Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.